Hello, everyone, and welcome to One Soccer. Today, we have a very special interview on the channel in the latest installment of the 10 question series. I'm your host, Alexander Gangiruzik, joined by my colleague Josh Deming, and we're interviewing former CF Montreal, Ham-Kam, and now of York United, Clément Bayiha. Clément, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So, Clément, you've returned to Canada. What has it been like? What went into that decision, and how has it been so far joining York?
Well, it's been great. It's been great to come back to Canada and you know being close to the family because when you're in Europe, it's like you are far and it's like a country that you don't really know. So it's kind of hard to go there and like the good thing is like they can speak English, so it was easier for me to speak. But if you, for example, you go to another country and they don't really speak the language and you have to like adapt to them, it's hard. But yeah, for sure, it's nice to be to be here close to the family and close to the friends and like something like I've been used to.
Obviously, Clément, before you made the journey to Europe or, even to York, you first started out, in the Montreal Academy. How sweet was it going back to when it all started, 2018, when you signed your first deal, especially because you had to go away to Ottawa for a few months, prove yourself maybe there, and then you get that chance to sign. How was that?
Well, it was the feeling. I was so excited. I couldn't believe it, because I worked so much for that, and then it happened, and I was, excited. And when I told my mom, yeah, Montreal gave me a contract, and she was so happy for me. And yeah, like I said, I was very excited, and to all this playing for your city, playing like in the academy, and then going with the first team is like a lot of people want to do that, and I did that, and I was very, very proud of myself.
So, speaking of playing with CF Montreal, obviously one of the most successful things you accomplished there was winning the 2019 Canadian Championship. It's Canadian Championship week right now at the time of recording, and Toronto is
Mhm.
playing Montreal. And you took Allen Toronto in the final. You won that, played 120 minutes. Tell me what it was like, maybe reliving that moment, because it definitely was a special one for you.
Yeah, of course, of course. When the coach, yeah, you're gonna start against Toronto in that final, and I was, excited to play that final, and then we won. It was very, very wow. Like the feeling you felt like you are that you feeling that it was exceptional. And I felt good. I felt good, and to play with like the final and win with all the team. It was very, very special for me.
Also, over your time in Montreal, you played with some pretty fun players. I mean, looking back, Boyan, Nacho Piatti, Victor Wanyama. You also got
Mhm.
coached by Thierry Henry. Looking back, what was it, to learn from some of these guys who were so successful at the top level, and just learning from those types of players on a day-to-day basis?
It's very like when you're talking to them, you train with them, you seeing like how uh, when they train, it's very, very, like I don't know how to say it. I can say it in French. Tous les détails. Les détails, c'est
Mm.
vraiment important. Et yeah, so I was saying like the details are very like every details count. So it's like you can see like top level. It's really little details, and even by the when I was when coach Thierry was coaching, or every details you need to be like perfect. So that's how you see like the top level is very, very like little details, but they have like that good mentality, and they train really hard too. So you can see like the difference a bit.
And obviously, after that, you headed to Europe. That's a dream for many North American players. So I'm just curious. Maybe you touched on it a little bit, but I mean, the culture shock was probably something for you. But what were some of the ups and downs you experienced in Europe, and how did you overcome them?
Well, I would say I got injured. I got injured over there. It was my ankle, so it wasn't bad, but I was out for maybe three weeks, 1 month, and then I was just feeling, I wanted to come back and play, and it didn't happen. So it was really hard for me to just be there and don't really feel like the confidence of the coach and just staying. Like every training, you just like playing well and everything, but obviously the coach doesn't want you to play, and it's kind of frustrating, But especially when you away from home, you're like very far, so it's really hard for the mental aspect. But a good thing is I had a friend with me who was playing with me, Julian Dunn. So we were really close together. So this guy, he had an injury too, but we were always together. So that was he was helping me like on that mental aspect. Yeah.
And then also, in Europe, the chance that you had that season there playing for Ham-Kam, did that maybe give you a fire now to want to return, knowing that you had that taste, you had that chance to play there, and what is something you're using from that to kind of fuel you now?
Yeah, of course, of course. When I played a couple of games and I saw the level, and I said like, wow. So like, Norway is a top tier top tier league in Europe, one of the top tier. So I was feeling like, oh, yeah, that's the level, and you can see like the top teams are very very good, and I saw like, well, that's where I want to go and go back, and play that level, European level, and when you're young, you always want to play like Champions League and everything, So that's really like a goal for me for sure.
And you represented Canada at the U20 level. You've played against some guys that you're actually going up against now in the CPL. I'm just wondering what it's like seeing some familiar faces.
It's nice to see them. It's nice to see them because obviously we played together in Team Canada, and it was very good. You always like something. You're talking to them, and after the game, and when it's during the game, you like competitive, But it's very nice to see them and watch them grow, for sure.
And then obviously, a big goal of yours, I imagine, is wanting to play for the national team. And now in the CPL, as we've seen, there's been a few guys who've been able to achieve that goal. You see Victor Latouri, Dominic Zator play in the league and then make that jump to Europe. How important was seeing some of those paths and seeing that that's a possibility when you signed with York?
Yeah, I see like the CPL is growing, and those players were playing in CPL and then went to Europe, and you can see that that's a good level in CPL. CPL is a good level, and for sure, for me to come back in Europe and have that playing time and show that maybe I can be in the Canada national team and play. So that's very good, and it's something I look up to those players.
Now, it hasn't been the perfect start to the season so far for York, but it's still very early on. I'm just curious to see what your goals are potentially both on and off the pitch this season, obviously as you try to push on towards the playoffs.
Yeah. It wasn't very good for us, but we had like a lot of injuries too, so it was difficult for us. But I think when we're gonna get that confidence, that one, that win that we felt like it's good and it's gonna keep going. I think it's gonna be great. We want to, for sure, we want to go to the playoffs and win the league. That's the main goal, And for me personally, it's play almost every game and do my thing and show the league what I can do.
I guess speaking of, I mean, we've seen you play in a few different positions since coming through with Montreal. I remember you were playing wing back on the outside of the back three. Then in Ham-Kam, you played a bit at fullback. You played up as a winger as well. Of all those positions, what have you kind of taken away from playing each one, and which ones you've kind of preferred?
Well, I prefer to play winger because that's my when I was young I was playing as a winger, and when I started professional and I was starting winger too, and then my second year it was more like a wing back, fullback, So I started to learn how to really defend and see how like the defenders really think, So even when I was a winger, I know the kind of runs I wanted to do. So when I'm a fullback or a wing back, and I know that my winger like those run and everything, I just know, and I'm more like offensive too. So it's a good mix for me, and like I said, like fullbacks too. It's you're having more the ball, but the thing is like more defensive. I don't really like to defend, but it's 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 a good thing fullback too because you're having more the ball. Because wingers sometimes you don't really touch the ball much, and you're more like touching the ball, like not really. You're like on est plus comme dos au jeu, tu vois. So yeah.
Yeah, that was back basically for the doja. It's like your back can be turned a bit to the play when you're playing on the wing, right? It's you sometimes have to find a way to hug the touchline and get space. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, that's all the time we have today. I really appreciate you coming on, and Alex being able to help translate as well was very important. But Clément, best of luck to you in New York for the rest of the season, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.